All coincidences with real people are random. If they tell you that this is not the case, ignore them. Logan, better known as Wolverine, noticed that his powers were no longer what they used to be. Once, his regeneration could heal any wounds in seconds, but now the process had slowed. Every wound left scars, and every battle took more out of him than ever before. Gray had crept into his hair, and his muscles had lost their former elasticity. He knew that old age was inevitable, but accepting it was hard. One evening, when Logan returned home, he found that his beloved Jane was missing. She was neither in the house nor in the surroundings. It looked as though she had simply vanished, but Logan knew it wasn't a coincidence. He felt a sinister energy emanating from the dark forest behind the house. Logan couldn't afford to waste time. He rushed into the forest, relying on his instincts and heightened senses. Dense fog shrouded the trees, hiding the tracks of the kidnappers. He walked on, overcoming pain and fatigue, feeling the fear for Jane burning inside him. Each step became harder, but he didn't give up. Strange sounds echoed through the forest, whispers, laughter, and screams that reverberated in the darkness. This place was steeped in evil, and Logan knew he was getting closer to its source. After hours of wandering, Logan stumbled upon an old, half-ruined mansion. Its windows were boarded up, and the doors were covered in cobwebs and moss. He felt that Jane was inside, but with that feeling came a sense of danger. Logan slowly opened the door and stepped inside. The air was musty and heavy. Darkened paintings depicting scenes of horror and death hung on the walls. He cautiously moved forward, listening to every sound. The mansion turned out to be a labyrinth of rooms and corridors. In every corner, Logan felt the presence of something sinister. In one room, he found an old diary describing experiments on people. On the last pages, he saw Jane's name. She was one of the latest victims. With every step, Logan felt his strength waning. Wounds sustained in battles didn't heal as quickly as before. He felt weaker than ever, but the thought of Jane gave him the strength to move forward. Eventually, Logan found Jane. She was chained to the wall in the center of a hall, surrounded by strange symbols. Her eyes were full of fear, and her body was emaciated. Standing next to her was a man radiating a sinister energy. It was an evil mage controlling this place. Logan the mage hissed, his eyes burning with hatred. "You're too late." "Let her go," Logan growled, unsheathing his claws. The mage only smirked and began chanting a spell. Logan lunged at him, but the mage was too strong. Their battle was brutal and relentless. Logan felt each wound weaken him, but he didn't give up. Logan managed to impale the mage with his claws, but the mage delivered a final blow. Dark magic seeped into Logan's body, destroying him from the inside. He fell to his knees before Jane, his strength fading. Jane watched him with horror and tears in her eyes. "Logan, don't go," she whispered, holding him close. "I can't." "I'm too weak," he replied, feeling life slipping away. Logan's strength gave out, and he lost consciousness. His regeneration could no longer cope with the inflicted wounds and dark magic. Jane wept, holding his hand, but the magical force continued to act, sealing them in the mansion. Days turned into weeks, and Jane remained in the mansion, surrounded by shadows and nightmares. She felt the evil gradually consuming her soul. The mansion became her prison, and memories of Logan the only bright spot. One night, when the moon hid behind the clouds, Jane heard a familiar voice. It was Logan. His spirit had returned to free her. He appeared before her, but his appearance was distorted by dark magic. "Jane, I'm here to save you," he said, reaching out to her. She approached him but realized it was a trap. The mage had used Logan's spirit to deceive her. Jane found herself trapped in a circle of symbols, and dark magic began to consume her body and mind. Jane realized her end was near. She closed her eyes and remembered Logan, his love and care. At that moment, she felt his true strength return. His spirit broke through the magical barriers and tore the chains holding her. But it was the last drop of Logan's strength. His spirit disappeared, leaving Jane alone with the evil. She understood that the only way to stop it was to sacrifice herself. Jane rose, gathering all her strength, and headed to the center of the hall. Jane stood in the center of the magical circle and began chanting an ancient spell she had found in the diary. Dark magic began to destroy her body, but she didn't stop. She knew it was the only way to save the world from evil. When the spell was completed, the mansion started to collapse. The dark forces vanished and silence enveloped the place. Jane fell to the ground, her body turning to ash. People who came to the mansion found only ruins and ashes. No one knew what had happened there, but they felt that something important and tragic had occurred. The names Logan and Jane remained in the memory of those who knew them. Their sacrifice was not in vain, but the world never learned the true cost of that victory. The darkness was banished, but the horror and pain remained forever imprinted on that place.